What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods here. As y'all could tell, the background's a little bit different, man. But I got my guy here, Braxston Blackwell, five-star long snapper, committed to Southern University. As y'all know, different recruiting scale for special teams players, man. One of the best long snappers in the country, though, taking his talents to the SWAC, man. But Braxton, appreciate you joining the show, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm blessed.
Hey man, appreciate you for sure reaching out and getting this set up. But I want to go into, I usually ask about the recruiting process on these episodes, but I know it's a lot different for special teams players, kickers, punters, long snappers like yourself. How different, comparing it to some other players how different is the recruiting process for a position like a long snapper?
So I mean, I would say it's kind of similar, but at the same time, it's not. So in long snapping, you have these different types of camps. Like you have these guys named Coles, you got Rubio long snapping, you have corn blue kicking, you have all these different types of coaches with different platforms that hold these camps that you can get nationally ranked. And I feel like that's one of the ways that recruiting goes as that. But like with position players, you get ranked by 24/7, people like that, like the higher up rankings. I just feel like it's a lot different in the recruiting process. But I would say it's almost similar. It's just recruiting. It's really just about who you know and the connections that you make. You just got to find the right coach that's going to like put your name out there. So you got to find the right instructor that's going to help you out along the way, basically.
Yeah, and I know it's got to be tough, man, especially with some of the top scouts in the country really focusing on other positions. And I know a lot of people, they ask me all the time, because I believe one of the SWAT schools landed a five-star kicker too. What goes into the grading process for a position like long snapper? Because the other ones are easy. You look at a quarterback, you look at his mechanics, you look at his passing yards, passing touchdowns. But for a position like long snapper, there's really not any stats to back it up. What are the scouts looking for in terms of ranking you guys and grading the long snapper position?
Most of the scouts, they were looking at your snap time. So like the average, like I would say NFL snap times probably like a 0.64, 0.65, and a D1's around anywhere from a 0.67 to a 0.75 is like the D1, you know, long snapping time that you want to go to. But most of the time it's more about being consistent. So I think coaches more look towards the consistency part because your speed will come with the time that you do it and the your form and your mechanics and everything that you have with it and your technique. So, but they really look at where you're positioned the ball. If you can position the ball on the hip of the punter and you can hit the spot whenever you're snapping to the holder, I feel like they look at that a lot more. But you got to have your speed as well. So speed's a very important key, especially whenever you're at the D1 level. You got guys running 4.3s coming at you, so you got to get it off at a really good time and be very consistent with it.
Yeah, man, I'm glad that you broke that down because I know a lot of people don't know a lot of long snappers and really haven't heard it broken down like that. So definitely appreciate that, man. But you come from the JUCO level, and I think when you look at shows or the series Last Chance, you would really shine the light on what you guys had to overcome at the JUCO level in terms of jobs, housing, scholarships, feeding yourselves, and being away from your family. So for you, looking at your experience, what was the biggest challenges that you had to overcome at the JUCO level?
I would have to say so. I attended Mississippi Delta Community College, and it's up in the Delta, Mississippi. It's one of the roughest JUCOs. They don't have everything that like some of the other JUCO programs have. Like the housing was a little rough because they were still trying to work to get better housing. So we was staying in, not the best dorms, I would say. And I would say the hardest challenge was definitely coming in as a freshman. Just going out there, getting used to the college atmosphere. Like out of high school, I was overlooked a lot. I only had one offer. So like coming out of high school, it was kind of like I had to take that offer. It was the only offer I had. So I was like, man, I'm just gonna go JUCO route. I know it's gonna be tough and all that. So I would have to say, going into getting used to the hard atmosphere in JUCO, going outside, running in the 110-degree weather that we have in Mississippi. It's crazy. The humidity is ridiculous. But I would have to say doing that, and then also just going through just the whole JUCO process. You don't get everything like you do at, these big time D1 schools like FBS schools. They get all this gear. All we had was, man, we had a shirt and shorts, and we was out there running. Like we didn't really have all this extra stuff. So I would just have to say, I mean, you got to be level minded. go on the JUCO level. You gotta be a different type of, you gotta have a different type of mindset. So if you stick to, just pushing hard and that you trying to make it out and get to where you want to be, then you will do good in JUCO for sure, in my opinion.
And you spoke about how you only had one offer coming out of high school. Outside of just that, because I know you had a lot more coming out of JUCO, what were some of the biggest differences for you between your high school recruiting process and your JUCO recruiting process?
Well, out of high school, so I didn't start snapping until my senior year of high school. So it was a lot different because I didn't really look like I was going to be a long snapper in college. I didn't really say, "Oh man, I'm just going to be a long snapper in college." At this time, I didn't really know even long snapping was a thing. So I just got told by my high school coach. He was like, "Hey, we need somebody long snap on the team." So I was like, "Man, I could do it." And me, I like challenges, so I wanted to take up on that. And he said, "Yeah, you can go play college. They're people were looking for scholarship long snappers now." So I was like, man, I started doing it a lot, watching videos, just really getting better at, that position and just specializing in it. And I just got into it and I was like, man, this is fun. I was like, I could really do this in college and stuff like that. So the high school recruiting process was different because I didn't realize that I was starting this earlier. Like I wish I would have started it earlier because if I would started earlier, my process probably would have been a whole lot different. But since I started so late, it was a lot different because then when I went to JUCO, I had the COVID year. So the COVID year really helped me get a lot of experience that first year. We only played, I think, like 4 games, sadly. So I got 4 game experience. And then that fall, I had a really good season. We had a new head coach over there at the time. And he helped me out a lot of the way. And yeah, that's kind of how that went. But JUCO was a lot. It really helped a lot because a lot of coaches are looking for JUCO guys now, I think. So I think it really helped a lot in JUCO, going JUCO and being a long snapper, being a specialist, you get more of eyes on you. So
And I know this question is why a lot of people are tuned in here, man. What was it about Southern that led you to commit there? 'Cause you've had a lot of offers from different schools across the country. What drew you to Southern?
I would have to say what drew me to Southern was definitely I went up on a visit, and I went up there, I talked to Coach Dooley, I talked to Coach Graves that's over there. And the whole time this whole process when I was actually like in my like talking with coaches, I was actually gonna go to UT Martin actually. And I actually just switched up. I was like, man, I have a better opportunity somewhere else. Southern has been in all contacts with me, just talking, and we just kept talking. Coach Graves was consistent. He was one of them coaches that was just like, I knew that he really wanted me. I knew this would be the place that I'd want to go to. He just always was talking to me. Even if it wasn't about football, we were always talking. So that's what I really liked. And then Coach Dooley talked to me as well. And I thought it was very, big that the head coach is talking to me, and just, we built that relationship. I went up on a visit and it was just amazing. I mean, the whole place was great. I'm an hour and a half away from home, and just everybody around there was so nice. Whenever I came, just everybody would say, hey, stuff like that. And, I know the specialists over there as well. So that kind of made me more comfortable that I know the specialists. And, it was just a big, big deal for me to be able to know guys that I'm going to be able to mesh with and be able to be great. So,
And I see the Saints jersey.
oh, yeah.
How big is it going to be able to play in the Superdome that last game of the year against Grambling?
Man, I'm excited for that. I grew up a Saints fan, I got the Thomas jersey on. So, I'm just a big Saints fan, man. It's a blessing to be able to be at Southern. It's a blessing to be able to play for that and play in that atmosphere. It's just crazy.
Hey man, I'm definitely planning on being down there, man. So we'll have to catch up there. But you mentioned you talked to head coach Dooley. What is he like behind the scenes? We know with the suit, with the big personality. What is he like? In terms of recruiting. What was his pitch to you? What was the vibe you got from him talking to him?
Well, the vibe that I really got from Coach Dooley was he's a big family guy. And that's one thing that I really, was really big on because he always said that, hey, we're going to treat you like family. Family means everything to me. He said, I'm going to treat you like my own son. And that was something that hit me really much rather than the other coaches, because other coaches that I've talked to, I mean, I had one other coach that was like that, but I feel like Coach Dooley just was there and just behind the scenes, man, he was a great guy, and he's really wanting to win a championship. Like he's coming in wanting to win a championship. And I like that attitude, and that's what Coach Dooley brings, and that's what I like. I like the personality he has, and I like how how he just is as a man. He's just a great guy all around, and I know that I'm gonna love playing for him.
And you mentioned some of the specialists over at Southern. That was going to lead into my next question for you. How difficult is it to build chemistry with the kicker and or punter and holder as well, even on extra points? And What are the biggest challenges in building that chemistry?
I feel like building that chemistry, you just have to really work together. Like I feel like so me and the punter over there at Southern Robensby playing, we actually talk on the phone every day. So just talking with him, we know that coming in when we come in August that we're gonna have to be ready and get ready really fast and get that connection. I feel like we will because, like I said, all of us are really, we really talk and we're really connected. So I think we will get that connection down really fast. But I think chemistry is just being with the guys and just always doing stuff with them and never, stop the grind. It's just about grinding and getting it done. So I just feel like the more that we're together and the more that we're bonding is going to build our connection up even more to where we can be the best that we can on the field.
Hey man, I like to hear that because I know, me playing O line chemistry was a big thing, but I know it's got to be so different because, like you said, I mean, if you're a second late, that field goal, that punt, whatever could be blocked and it changed the whole game. But outside of the Grambling game, already got you on that one. What are some of the games on that schedule for Southern that you're looking forward to the most?
Honestly, so growing up as a kid, this one's gonna be big. I love this one. Growing up as a kid, I've always wanted to play in Death Valley. So like playing against LSU, going around that crowd, Baton Rouge, two Baton Rouge schools going at it. I just know it's gonna be an exciting game. I just know the fans are gonna go crazy about it. I mean, two Baton Rouge schools going together, you can't really, you can't dox that. And then I would have to say, honestly, one of my other games, like this is inside the conference that I'm really excited for, is actually Alcorn. I'm ready for the Alcorn game. It's funny because my head coach that was ever at Mississippi Delta, he's actually over at Alcorn right now as a defensive coach. And then my other coach that was there, Coach Quinn's over there as well. And then my kicker from JUCO's over there. So just being able to go against some guys and compete against them is going to be fun. Me and the kicker from Alcorn, Mason Caldwell, me and him still talk to this day, and like we're like best friends. So like just being able to compete against him is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. All the trash talk and all that, it's going to be fun.
And that Alcorn game could come down to who wins the division too. That could be a huge, huge game in the grand scheme of things. And so I know being a long snapper, you're probably a little bit more familiar. Our actual first ever guest on this show was a long snapper. He now plays for the Dolphins. Blake Ferguson used to play at
Yep.
LSU. Was our first ever guest. So I know you're more familiar with the names in the NFL. Which NFL long snapper do you feel like you modeled after the most, or do you look up to in terms of crafting your game?
I think the most guy that I look up to is a guy named Luke Rhodes who plays for the Indianapolis Colts right now. I just see how his physique is and how he does things and how he trains to be a pro. And that's kind of what I look up to and what I want to set my standard for as myself because there's just something about him. He's just got the mentality and he's always working hard, and I just like that. And he's always in the weight room. So like he pushes the weight room. He really shows people that you have to be big and you have to be strong to be a long snapper. It's not just going out there and doing it that you can do. You have to be physically there as well. And that's what I really look up most of him. And he always critiques his form as well. And that's just something that I look up to.
Hey man, I like it. I like it. Yeah, we had Blake on. We had Blake on, and he kind of educated us on a little bit of the long snapper stuff, man. So I definitely appreciate that. And the last question, man, this is a big one, and this could be you could start with on the field, off the field. It doesn't matter. Talk about both of them. You haven't even made it to campus yet? What are some of the goals that you want to achieve at Southern before you graduate in 4 to 5 years?
This is going to be an easy one. I want to win a championship. I want to win as many championships as we can when we're there. So whenever I'm there, I'm hoping to win a championship, get a degree, and move on to the next level. But I think also the goals I want to achieve, I just want to be the best specialist team unit in the whole nation. So like that's another thing that I want to do is just be the best. That's it. Just be the best.
Hey, I love the confidence, man, and I know special teams are a big thing in the SWAC. A lot of people are upgrading. I mean, I think FAMU with Chris Fadul and those guys over there doing a great job. You guys bringing in a lot of talent. And I know there's been a lot of five-star punters and kickers coming into the SWAC as well, some long snappers. So, man, shout out to you guys. But this is all about promoting the players, man. I know you're pretty active on social media and things like that. So let people know where they can find you, contact you for NIL deals, and any messages, shout outs you want to give, Braxton, man. This time is yours.
I just want to give a shout out to Jaguar Nation, everybody that's giving me love. I thank y'all so much, and I'm ready to be at Baton Rouge, and I'm ready to get this stuff going. I'm ready to get to playing and get to winning some games and get some championships. That's all I got to say.
I love it, man. He said it's all about the ring. It could be ring season real soon in Baton Rouge. But guys, man, make sure to go follow Braxton all social media. Social media will be on the thumbnail and linked below in the bio of the video, man. But Braxton, I appreciate you again. But guys, for Braxton, myself, and the Blue Bloods, we are out for right.